The judges of Israel were God's chosen people, and especially endowed by him to judge and lead the Israelites. The time when these people led God's people became known as the Judges. And in this video, you will know who the judges of Israel were, and will know the most important points of the period. The period of the Judges was the historical moment that consisted of the transition from the leadership of Moses and Joshua to the reign of the kings of Israel. And this period, of course, as its name implies, is described in the book of Judges in the Old Testament. The period of the Judges began with the oppression of the king of Arah, Mesopotamia, after Joshua and the elders died. And the people of Israel have surrendered to deep apostasy. By doing what was evil in the eyes of the Lord and worshiping strange gods, God allowed the king of Mesopotamia to subdue the people of Israel for 8 years. After this time, the Lord raised Othniel, a relative of Caleb, to free the Israelite people, starting the Judges period. As this period ended when Saul was elected king of Israel in approximately 1050 BC, most scholars understand that the Judges period lasted approximately 320 years. And in biblical history, it is easy to realize that the judges of Israel were people raised by God in times of crisis, and these people were empowered by the Holy Spirit in a special way to judge and lead the people. Even in the book of Judges we read, "And lifted the Lord judges, who delivered them from the hand of those who stripped them." The judges remained in their duties until they die, and unlike kings, they did not establish a hereditary government in Israel. These judges were national heroes, and sometimes they are designated in the Bible as libertadores. And a list of the judges of Israel usually suffers some discussions. This is because some consider only the list of judges in the 12 cycles present in the book of Judges, with Samson being the last of them. Others also include Eli and Samuel in the official list of judges of Israel. But in any case, Yahweh and Samuel led and judged Israel before the institution of the monarchy, although not cited in the book of Judges. Another point that generates some discussion about the Judges period is the question of Deborah and Barak. Some scholars consider Deborah's leadership only, while others count Deborah and Barak separately as judges, and others unify their performance. And it is also interesting to mention that he and Samuel were most likely to be contemporaries of Samson, at least for a while. And we know that Samson was the last judge mentioned in the book of Judges. The list of judges presented in the 12 cycles recorded in the Old Testament Judges book is as follows. The first judge was Othniel, a relative and son. Already the second judge was Ehud, a representative of the tribe of Benjamin, known for being a left-handed, who put an end in an 18-year period of oppression when he killed King Eglon of Moab. And after that there was 80 years of peace. Then came Judge Sangar, son of Anat, whom the Bible speaks very little. All that is known is that he fought against the Philistines, even killing 600 Philistines with a guard of oxen. And the Bible doesn't say how long the Sangars lead. Then came Deborah's time, the only woman mentioned among the judges of Israel. Deborah was a prophetess who also judged the internal disputes of the people. But although not essentially a military leader, she had to go to the war against the army of Canaan King Jabin because of men's lack of confidence Israelites, especially Barak. And after the victory against the Canaanites, there were 40 years of peace. The fifth judge of Israel was Gideon, from the tribe of Manasseh, who fought heroically with his army reduced against the numerous Midianites, and gave Israel 40 years of peace. After Gideon came Tala, a man from the tribe of Issachar, who led Israel for 23 years. Then the seventh judge of Israel was Jair, an inhabitant of the city of Gilead, who judged the people for 22 years. The eighth judge of Israel emerged when the Israelites were being oppressed for 18 years by the Ammonites. Jephthah's leadership lasted 6 years, and he was also known for making one of the most controversial votes in the entire Bible when he promised his daughter in Holocaust. And if you want to know more about it, we have a video here on the channel talking specifically about the vote of Jephthah. Then finally appeared the last judge of Israel quoted in the book of Judges. His name was Samson, and he belonged to the tribe Dedan. Samson is one of the best-known biblical characters, especially because of his supernatural strength. He led the Israelites for 20 years and fought against the Philistines, but it is very difficult to be able to establish a chronology for the Judges period. This is because fundamental information is lacking for this task, such as the period of time that took place between the beginning of the conquest of Canaan with Joshua and the beginning of the king's oppression in Mesopotamia. There is also a great difficulty in interpretation of the sum of the numbers provided by the Book of Judges. This is because by totaling the periods of oppression and government of the judges, one reaches a result that significantly exceeds the total period of total time for this moment, historical time for this moment. Therefore, we must understand that some periods of oppression and truce under the leadership of the judges have overlapped, so that it is not possible to determine how long there has been overlap in each specific case. And that means that there were probably periods when, while some tribes experienced a time of peace, other tribes, fixed in other regions of Canaan, faced some kind of oppression. But, considering all these difficulties, we can even risk an approximate chronology of the period of the judges of Israel. Thus, we can say that probably between approximately 1405 and 1364 BC, there was the government of Joshua and the elder Su. In some date near 1356, Othniel led Israel against the oppression of the king of Mesopotamia, and then there was a 40-year truce that lasted until at least 1316 BC Moabite oppression, and also, on a date near this period, the brief leadership of Sangar occurred. Then, at some point between 1258 and 1218 BC, the people of the 20 years of oppression of King Jabim, Deborah, and Barak, and the 40-year peace period in the north. Later, a 7-year-old Midianite oppression began, and then it was between 1211 and 1171 BC that Gideon released the Israelites and judged the people for 40 years. After this period, there was the perverse reign of Abimelech, son of Gideon, who became an unauthorized type of king in Shechem for a period of 3 years. Then, at some point between approximately 1168 and 1123 BC, there were leaders of Tola and Jair. And then the Ammonite people oppressed the Israelites for 18 years, until God raised Jephthah to free the people. Then, between approximately 1105 and 1074 BC, the judges Jephthah, Ibzam, Elam, and Abdon judged Israel. The final part of the Judges book also reports the 40th anniversary when the Israelites were under the oppression of the Philistines and the sanctioned power series that judged Israel for 20 years. And if we extend our chronology to the records of the first book of Samuel, thus reaching a date close to 1050 or 1030 BC, we have the record of capturing the Ark of the Covenant and the death of the high priest Eli, which also judged Israel at that time. And then we find the account of the Battle of Ebenezer and the registration of the prophet Samuel's leadership period, who culminated at the beginning of the monarchy with Saul's choice as the first king of Israel. From all of us at Path of Faith, thank you for being part of today's discussion. We value your input, so please share your thoughts in the comments. Show your support with a like, spread the message by sharing, and subscribe to stay connected with us on our journey of faith.